The steroid guys, a certain percentage of them, simply wipe them off the ballot. But does Biggio, Piazza getting close, and Bagwell getting closer begin to hasten those debates that they began with those guys are users, even though we don't have proof, to we just can't keep them out because they're rumors? Am I jumping too far into that boat, or is that the future of this? Do you think?
I can't. It's such a difficult question you're asking because you're trying to get into the minds of people who are all voting for different reasons. And you can only vote for 10 guys.
Okay, let me ask you this.
You have to leave guys off some.
Let me simplify this for everyone listening, including you. Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens get in.
No.
They never do.
I don't think they get in. I'm not saying they shouldn't get in.
Behind the glass, Barry Bonds. I'm not asking, do you think they're in? I'm asking, I'm not asking, do you think they should be in? I'm asking, do you think the voters will vote them in? Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens. Everyone behind the glass says no. I find that interesting because I'm starting to feel like...
Well, neither guy's had 50% on the vote.
No, I know, but I feel like it's starting to loosen a little bit, and I think Piazza is evidence of that.
Piazza could be a very important guy in this.
Right.
Like in the next 2 years, if Piazza gets in, then it opens up to what you're talking. I know exactly where you're going with it.
Right.
It opens up to what you're talking about. If a catcher with more home runs than anyone else can't get in because of speculation and acne.
Right. Back acne.
Then Barry Bonds probably ain't getting in either.
Right. There's no chance.
There's no chance.
But if he gets in.
Well, if he gets in, interesting stuff there.
But it looks like, eventually he will get in. All right. Let me just ask this. How much luster has the Hall of Fame lost over the last 5 years?
I've always wanted to go to Cooperstown. I've never been.
Mm-hmm.
I now don't want to go to Cooperstown. It's a cesspool of not taking responsibility and leaving it to writers. And then putting more provisions on writers, like cutting a guy's eligibility from 15 years on the ballot down to 10, which they did quietly after that last vote last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone who runs the Baseball Hall of Fame are unmitigated cowards and are near Sepp Blatter, Nick Saban territory for not taking responsibility and giving directive to a lot of writers who want to do the quote-unquote right thing, however you define it.
Mm-hmm.
It has never come down from those morons in Cooperstown. They just want to have the nice weekend in the summer,
right?
Put out the folding chairs.
And not do any of the hard work.
Figuring this out.
That goes for Bud Selig too, though. That goes for...
Yeah, but it's not the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame.
I know that. But if Bud Selig could offer some sort of directive to any of them, like who's in there? Is anyone not from the major leagues making this ballot? Saduhara O?
He's not in the Hall of Fame.
Is he in the Hall of Fame?
Is he in the
Hall
Hall
of Fame? So then
Fame?
what are we talking about here?
Saduhara O? Is there a
How many non-North
American
/ Major League Baseball players are in there?
I
don't even know.
You mean non-North American / Dominican / Cuban baseball players are in there? Like how many international baseball players are in there? I guess is what you're asking. I don't think there's many.
Which is why I shouted out Saduhara O.
That was a great reference. Shout out Beastie Boys as well.
Which is how most people know about what Saduhara
O. I think this thing has become a joke. However, to the guys who get in, this means the world. To them personally, they know the work they put in. And who am I to judge them? What I'm judging is the process. What I'm judging is how does Craig Biggio get in the Hall of Fame ahead of Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens? Like that's the world we live in. And there's been no directive from the people who run that very nicely polished museum, but right now a farce of a museum.
See, herein lies the dilemma, and I'm glad that you put it that way. Because Danny Ruiz writes in and says, it would be crazy if Jeff Bagwell doesn't make it. Enough with this eyeball test ridiculousness from the voters. Well, it's the same eyeball test that's being done with Craig Biggio. It's just you're not applying it to him. It's the same eyeball test to John Smoltz. He doesn't look like a user, so we put him in. We have no suggestion. But I'm going to tell you right now, if John Smoltz was 240 stacked and had traps that hit his ears, he wouldn't be in. Like, that's just the way it is. Like, I know what you're saying Danny, you're trying to point to the guys like Bagwell, like Piazza, those guys where there's whispers. But guess what? That's being done with everybody. And how Craig Biggio is just, oh, well, he's not a user. He's in. It's the same
Really?
eyeball. It's the exact same
Really?
eyeball test, right?
A guy who's 5'1" and had like 500 doubles, you're saying he was clean and straight as an arrow from
Well,
point A to point B? We're living in that idiotic world? Come on. Come on. Hashtag come on.
Middle infielder with 3,000 plus hits, more than 200 home runs, more than 350 steals. Jeter, Biggio, Henderson, only players in MLB history with 3,000 hits, 250 home runs, 350 steals. Right? Like but Jeter's not linked to it.
No. Because Jeter was sent from heaven.
Right.
As we all know.
Right.
That's science.
And Ricky
We're
just
there.
came before all this nonsense. Not to say that he couldn't have done it.
Do you know
either.
how many guys,
Right? Like he just came before the nonsense.
but let's throw Tim Raines out there, who now has 2 years left on the ballot. Tony Gwynn did not reach base as many times as Tim Raines did. Honus Wagner didn't reach base as many. Roberto Clemente didn't reach base as many times as Tim Raines. He can't get in the Hall of Fame. All right. Craig Biggio can. Sure. Craig Biggio. Now, with that said, Pedro Martinez, in the steroid era, had a career ERA over 18 years under 3. The average starting ERA, same time span, was like 4.8.
Mm-hmm.
That is a Hall of Famer. Career record 219 and 100.
Let me offer.
That is a Hall of Famer.